Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Objection Celebrity Court Chatter. We are joined today by the lovely Leanne Newton. Of course, we're doing UK, so we had to have her on. UK court scandals is the episode today. How are you, Leanne?
Hey, I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm excited about this because it's so juicy, especially the Prince Harry one. It's an older case. It's been going on since 2022. So it's about 3 years old, but things are getting super spicy in that case. Lots is coming out. And it just makes me realize how lucky we are that Baldoni versus Lively is going to wrap up in like a year. Because some of these
Yeah.
cases, we saw the Brangelina case with the fight over the vineyard that they have, that's
Yeah.
also been going on for like 2 or 3 years. So, um, yeah, and then we're gonna delve into Russell Brand's criminal charges as well as Chris Brown's criminal charges and some updates on that, what's going on there. But all these cases aren't going to trial until 2026. So this is kind of a little sip before trial next year, and we'll just keep you guys all updated as new stuff comes along. So this is kind of like your intro into the UK court scandals that are going on right now. I know I have a lot of followers from the UK. Good morning, Joe. How are you? Thanks for showing up today. Um, so yeah, we're gonna dive right into it. So you said that you knew a lot more about the Prince Harry case. Is that really big out there? Do a lot of people talk about it?
Uh yeah, they do. Piers Morgan talks about it a lot. um
Who
but
does?
Piers Morgan, he used to be the editor of the
Oh,
Daily
Piers
Mail.
Morgan. Yeah, I remember Piers Morgan. Um,
Yeah, it's well known. I think there's a bit of fatigue in the UK with this one. Um, I think with the whole Megxit thing and all that, like Prince Harry is not popular in the UK. And there's a bit of a fatigue that he seems to be on a mission to just kind of go after the news outlets. He's always held a grudge against and blamed for what happened to his mother. Um, but yeah, so
so he's not only
I know.
unpopular in the US, he's also unpopular in the UK.
Oh, he's really unpopular in the UK. No one comes after Kate and gets away with it.
Oh, thank you, Joe. He said always, whenever he has time, he loves listening to us. I appreciate the
Oh,
support, Joe. And I know this one isn't, we don't have a big crowd this morning because we're not covering Blake. I was trying to tie Blake in somehow. I'm like, has Blake ever had any drama in the UK? I even tried to
yeah,
look up like,
she went after Kate, didn't she?
um, oh, she did go after Kate. I should have put that in there.
You should
Should
have
have
put
asked.
that in there.
Yep, she did go after Kate. I should have put, maybe I'll change the thumbnail. I think you could change it after the live. I'll put because didn't she go after Kate with the it
With
was
a
like a
Betty
picture of them in
Boo's
the lounge
pose.
chair, right? It was right
Yeah,
after.
it was around the time Kate was diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah, that's crazy because I do remember that she tried to make it like a PR thing, like for her. Was it for the booze brand?
Yeah, she put some kind of knocked up image, a photoshopped image of her with her Betty Boo's crap everywhere.
Yeah,
Um,
so I'll have to
yeah.
change the thumbnail since we're talking about the Blake Lively Kate Middleton scandal too. I'm surprised she didn't get sued or anything, but Kate isn't
Kate's got
sh
decorum.
yeah, um, and yeah, the royal family, doesn't get into stuff like that. But I mean, there
No,
were people who did like take advantage of it or make fun of it, but it's like, Miss Voice for Women over here, um, going after women, which is so crazy, right? Because she says she's the voice for women, and then
and then she goes after a woman with cancer. Hmm.
yeah, so that's
And
pretty
I think
crazy.
what she was mocking as well, the whole Photoshop thing, was a Mother's Day photo, which had been edited quite not very well, fair enough, but it was a Mother's Day photo of Kate with the kids. So
Let me see if I can pull it up where she get some Blake in here. I thought we were gonna get a Blake break, but um, here, let me share the screen. Good morning, Jane. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We're going to the high court this morning. So yeah, I just wanted to pull this up when we were talking about it. This is the picture right here. Oh, this is where she apologized. She made a silly Photoshop fail post, but it doesn't show the picture. Hold on, let me see if I go back. I'm just trying to find the picture. Like I
There,
thought
in the middle of those two. Oh,
it doesn't show it, but here, I think this one.
there, middle one.
Yeah, right here. Here we go. That's the picture that she had posted. And what was the caption?
I don't know, something about,
Just
where's Kate? Who's hidden Kate? Something like that. But she was off ill. She'd had major stomach surgery at the start of the year. And then as a result of that, she was diagnosed with cancer. So, I mean, even if she wasn't diagnosed with cancer, everyone was well aware she was having that major abdominal surgery and she would be out of action for months. So, but there was this whole thing of, where is she? She's missing. Who's hidden her? Playing almost
Oh,
like a
here's
Where's
the
Wally
Photoshop
thing.
picture that you were talking about. This is the picture that Kate posted. This
Yeah,
is
it's the one where of her in that striped top, I think, with neck. Yeah, the one of Kate in the striped top. I think she's got might have the kids with her or
oh, okay,
something.
hold on. It didn't go to where I clicked it. Okay, hold on. That's why y'all were like, it's the middle one. Okay, so
Yeah,
this
that's
is
it.
right here. And
Yeah,
then this is the Kate Middleton one, where her thumb was like, that's what she's
was
making
in an
fun of.
odd place.
Because where's your hand? It was like something about her hand. And that's why up here she did it like with the thumb or whatever. So it looked like photoshopped.
Yeah,
She was trying to make fun of it. But yeah, that was her trying to sell her alcohol by making fun of someone from cancer. And then people say there's a smear campaign. Like, really?
yeah.
This was before the movie was filmed and people were already going after her. So, was that a smear campaign when people were going after her? Because this was in March of 2024.
And there was huge backlash. You got to
Yeah,
remember,
she got tons of
it was
she
big
has.
enough that Blake Lively apologized.
Yeah, that's the one that I had brought up before, like her little apology over here. This
Yeah,
is like a little Instagram apology. I'm sure no one cares, but I mean, people did care because people were going after her.
yeah.
That has me mortified today. I'm sorry. So this is the only time that I feel like she's ever had accountability.
No, yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm actually making the point of saying she actually apologized. That's how bad the backlash was. And so she should, because she was completely in the wrong. But she's apologized
Oh,
for nothing before then and nothing since.
I'm looking at the chat. He said, please put your disclaimer up before you start calling Blake who names. Thank you, Joe, for that. Just don't sue me, y'all. But yeah, so this is the only time that she did actually held herself accountable. And this is
Mm,
something that she should have done with the It Ends With Us drama, the DV stuff, right?
yeah.
So, yeah, somehow we got to tie Blake in. I was like, I'm trying to tie her in here. So, yeah, she did go after the royal family and um, people came at her for it. So, we're going to go ahead and get into the current lawsuit against the Daily Mail by Prince Harry and other celebrities. So we're going to break it all down for you guys. Who is suing? It's Prince Harry. It's also Elton John, Elizabeth Hurley, who I love, Sadie
Mm,
Frost, Baroness Doreen Lawrence. I don't know who she is. Do you know Baroness Doreen?
no,
Is
no,
she
I don't know who that is.
royal? I don't know who
No,
Sadie
no,
Frost is either.
no. So a baroness is like people they're the female version. So like in the House of Lords, you've got lords, the hereditary peers, blah blah blah. But the women are baronesses.
Oh, okay.
It's
And is
not a
Sadie
royal
a
family.
gay actress? It just says Sadie Frost. It doesn't say actress next
Sadie
to her.
Frost was an actress who, if I remember correctly, wasn't she married to Jude Law?
Um, let
I'm
me
sure
see.
she was married to Jude Law, and he cheated on her. I allegedly. I don't know if
Allegedly,
that's the right one.
yes, she was married to Jude Law.
Thank God. Yeah. So yeah,
Oh, she's
she's
really
an
pretty.
actress.
Um, yeah, let me pull it up. Yeah, this is her. This is Sadie Frost.
Yeah.
Sadie Frost and her doomed marriage to Jude Law. Okay, so she's another actress.
Yeah.
Um, And then Sir Simon Hughes, politician, David Furnish, Elton John's husband. So Elton and his husband, and then others. So it involves a bunch of British public figures. So, what are the allegations? The lawsuit accuses, and this is where it gets juicy. I was so excited about this case because I'm like, it is so juicy. The lawsuit accuses Associated Newspaper Ltd, ANL, publisher of the Daily Mail, Mail on Sunday, and Mail Online of unlawful information gathering spanning 3 decades, so 30 years, phone hacking and wiretapping, bugging
Yeah.
homes and cars, blagging, deceptive acquisition of private medical and financial records, commissioning burglaries to order, using private investigators for illegal surveillance. So these are
And I
like some
would say these were
hefty.
bad. This was really bad. Now I don't know if this is part of the same case, but we've had like a. I think it might have been the Sun was involved
Yeah, they
in a
settled
phone
that
hack.
one.
Yeah.
Prince Harry settled that one. That's Rupert
He
Murdoch.
settled that one, but that one was so bad. They even hacked the voicemail of a young teenage girl who was murdered, Millie Dowler. So they hacked her voicemail after her death, which was it. You can't, you cannot make that okay. Like, there's no way you can justify that.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what I had heard. Oh, let me make it this bigger so people can see it. Um, yeah, and um, so that was where the phone hacking started, and now they're investigating the Daily Mail on the phone hacking. So they're saying that this is something that's like rampant in the UK, like publications. So
Yeah,
yeah, and I'm just like, wow, like what phone hacking, wiretapping to get news. And I recently have liked, I used to not like the Daily Mail that much. I thought it was, kind of clickbaity. But recently they had like the really good coverage on the Baldoni Lively stuff. So I've been frequenting Daily Mail. Shout out to who's our is it Josh Boswell? Is that his name?
yeah, Josh
Um
Boswell.
yeah,
Yeah,
shout out to Josh Boswell at Daily Mail. But
I
yeah,
think
so
it's worth saying though that this is not current practices. I'm not kind of diminishing how bad it was, but these are things that have been done in the past. My understanding, and I may be wrong, is that this is, this is it, allegedly this had all happened under the helm of Piers Morgan, um, who denies it. But I believe that these practices, they haven't been proven, but um, they're not things that are going on currently. So I just want to make sure we're not kind of tarnishing the Daily Mail, say, "Oh my God, you bug phones and stuff," because
what?
that's not happening right now.
Well, he did. There was an update where he is going after them currently, like last like 2 weeks ago for an article too. So we're gonna get into that and see what he's talking about they're doing
Yeah,
now. But yeah, no, I like I said, I love the Daily Mail. Like I go to the Daily Mail a lot now. They have that Daily Mail Plus that I subscribe to because all the cool articles were were behind it. And of course you can use archive.is, but I got tired of, having to wait, like, like take the
mm,
link and put it into the archives and all that. So I just ended up subscribing. Um, so it says the claimants argue that the current editors, oh, it's saying that the current editors and senior media figures were involved in organizing or authorizing these activities. The plaintiffs assert the breaches caused extensive violations of privacy and personal distress. They have meanwhile denied all allegations, describing them to the court as preposterous and without foundation. So the initial filing was Prince Harry in 2022. In November 2023, a judge ruled the case could proceed, dismissing A&L's bid to prevent a trial. So the motion to dismiss was, um, it didn't go through, so they said it could proceed to trial. It says they both proposed staggering legal budgets: 23.4 million for the claimants, 24.7 for the publisher. But the judge capped them at 5.1 and 5.6. So this is the first time I heard of caps for legal fees. Is that just like a UK thing? Because here they don't do that.
Yeah, no, they do that quite commonly over here. It's not a set thing, like they don't do it in every case by any stretch, but I think we do it more over here. My experience tells me that American lawsuits are likely to like be claiming for everything, including the kitchen sink,
Yeah, that's what I'm
financially,
saying. I was like,
over trivial things as well.
when I saw they were capped, I was like, wow, that's actually kind of cool, because then the lawyers aren't like, how sometimes lawyers will, up the cost and make it drag longer and all that.
Yeah, you can't do that in the UK. In the UK, it's your loss. You've got to prove your loss. You can't just, you can't benefit or profit from a legal claim. It's got to be damages or a provable loss. So you get put back in the position that you would have been in had it not had this thing had not happened. But you can't like I was said to you yesterday about the Subway sandwich. Like someone sued because the Subway footlong was a quarter of an inch shorter, which you would expect would be an occupational hazard with bread, because it expands in the oven. But someone actually sued for, or tried to sue for, like millions. Like literally, what is your loss if you are losing a quarter of an inch of a bit of bread? But, it's not in the millions. But
But that's
the
the
American courts seem to
US.
entertain these things.
We are like sue happy in the US over
Yeah,
here.
you are.
We sue for
But that
anything.
puts up, the costs of goods, the costs of insurances and stuff like that. Whereas over here, we try to restrain the matter a little bit. And I'm not saying the UK is better at these things, but people can't just walk into a court and demand, everything, financially
Millions for
ruin
shortbread.
people.
Millions for shortbread. I love how you said that, too, like the bread expands and stuff in the oven. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
So the trial is scheduled for early 2026, and it's going to last about a month and a half, 45 days. Recent related cases: Prince Harry, what we talked about, recently settled with other publishers, Rupert Murdoch's News Group newspapers, and dropped an unrelated libel case against the Daily Mail following a
mm,
damaging pretrial ruling. But his privacy claims still persist in this lawsuit. If
yeah,
successful, this would mark the first time the Daily Mail titles are proven to have engaged in phone hacking and unlawful behavior. The previous News of the World scandal did not directly implicate the Mail. So this was the big scandal before that. A bunch of
yeah,
publications were using that, but they were not named in it. The potential fallout includes major financial damages, admissions of wrongdoing, further celebrity lawsuits, and reforms in British media practices. The defendants respond. Associated Newspapers repeatedly has stated that its journalists and editors have not participated in phone data hacking, wiretapping, bugging, or burglary to obtain information. They call the claims lurid, simply preposterous, and without evidence. And so here's kind of like the little breakdown: who the plaintiffs are, the defendant, the allegations, the defendant's stance, and the scheduled trial date, January 2026 as of right now. Um,
mm,
in the legal, it says this landmark privacy case spanning decades of alleged misconduct with high profile claimants determined to hold one of Britain's most powerful media groups accountable. So the trial set for 2026, and it'll be a turning point for legal limits and media conduct for the UK. So that's kind of like the breakdown of it. And then we have, I usually provide who to follow for updates on the case and stuff. So Steph, the altar nerd, she reports on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And so if you guys want the latest updates on anything with this case or Prince Harry in general, it's at Steph the alternate, or at Steph Alternerd on X, and I believe it's the same handle on YouTube. So she had said, this was a couple weeks ago, July 11th, a month ago, I guess. Breaking news with an added side of holy effing shitballs. It's an
can
article.
I
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say. So obviously, Steph is the same Steph that used to be on Pop. Well, she is part of Popcorn Planet with Andy. Can I also recommend someone else who would be great to follow, who's following this case and is a qualified barrister? So he's when he covers it legally, he's you're getting your goods.
Okay, well, who's
Uh,
that?
it's the black belt barrister.
Okay, let me see. The black belt barista. Let's pull him up. Okay, the black belt barista. So here's his X. It's D
But
at D Shen Smith.
yeah, so this is Daniel Smith.
Daniel.
He's a barrister in the UK. He's also he does I can't remember whether it's kickboxing or taekwondo. So and he's like seventh degree black belt, but really nice guy. He kind of was involved a little bit. He was doing some of the commentary on the Depp Heard case as well. Um, but as far as British legal commentary, aside from myself, this guy is incredible and highly knowledgeable as well. So, and one of the nicest guys as well. So easygoing and easy to listen to.
Yeah, so here he was covering Prince Harry in the headlines again.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah,
I just felt like it was worth
yeah,
pointing to
anyone I
him.
have, we're doing this for the UK followers, so anything UK legal case related, I'm sure he's covering. So thank you for that. That's awesome. And yeah, I do remember I was like, is she from Popcorn Planet? So thanks for verifying that because I thought I had seen her
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Popcorn
it's
Planet.
Steph. She's I think she's still behind the scenes with working with Andy and Kim, but she's following a lot of the political stuff, the immigration stuff, and the like the Prince Harry and so on and so forth. She does a lot with Lady C as well. Maybe it's an unlikely friendship that struck up there, but she's great. Um, she's obviously not legally trained, so there's a bit of limitation. But if you like her kind of
Commentary.
very active and animated way of bringing news, she's wonderful.
And she went through this whole article on her YouTube. So if you guys want to break down, go to her YouTube. She breaks down this
Yeah,
article that I'm about to pull up here. Um, and yeah, so if you guys want to follow her, give her a follow. I follow her for all kinds of stuff. She's got really really good commentary. Um, okay, so here's the Prince Harry has also, this is the latest. Prince Harry, well, not the very, very latest. There's another one, but Prince Harry ordered to reveal any payments to witnesses in case against the Daily Mail. Publishers suggest incentives offered by claimants to procure evidence include $5,000 a month deal with private investigator. Well, not dollar. What is it? What is the UK? How do you say
sounds
this? £5,000 a month deal with private investigators. So they're basically accusing the Duke now that he was making payments to people to provide evidence so he could use that evidence in his case against the Daily Mail. So if you go down here, the publisher, okay, let me go to where it says, okay, the judge's latest ruling follows. So the ruling was basically he's been ordered to reveal to the high court any payments or inducements made in return for evidence in his claim against the Daily Mail. And then it says the judge's latest ruling comes after the court was asked to order the claimants to search for and disclose any documents that relate to payments, royalties, or inducements paid, provided, or offered, or any demands of threats made in order to obtain documents. The barrister said a limited number of documents had been disclosed, which showed that payments were made or offered to procure evidence and invoices. So there's already been documents suggesting that witnesses had been paid or offered inducements. That is because there is a real prospect that associated will be able to rely upon this evidence to attack the credibility of such witnesses. So that's why he wants to know who's, I mean, obviously, if you're paid to testify. So it started to get spicy.
yeah.
Um, the issue of whether the payment or inducement affects the credibility is a matter to be resolved at trial. So that's what he's saying. He's like, I just need to know what's going on. They were also ordered to conduct further searches for evidence relating to what has been described as their personal watershed moment when they became aware that they had a potential claim. He's said to have sent a text message to Baroness Lawrence alerting her that information had come to light and she'd want to know about it and for her to join the legal action just a few months later. So they want all those documents of like the text chats between them. So, surprising lack of documentation. Mr. Justice Nicholas said he found the lack of documentation on these pivotal moments surprising. Such revelations would surely have prompted communications between trusted friends and family members, messages seeking advice or guidance, or expressing shock or outrage. So he's like, the complete absence of corroborating documents may be used to suggest these moments were not quite as shocking as claimed. So he wants that text thread of everybody texting each other, which is also
Mm.
something that Ellsworth says about the Blake Lively case. Like, wouldn't, if something like that was happening to her, wouldn't she be texting her husband or her friends, or like, where's all that
Yeah,
evidence?
exactly. Yeah,
So this
I agree with you.
is meanwhile, the claimant's attempt to access broader call data and other information was refused by the judge, who described the request as disappropriate and unfocused. Broad allegations made about the alleged use of unlawful information, it spans over 25 years, were also rejected. So I guess they're only using like current stuff. Warned that such allegations could not prove individual claims and that the court would tightly manage the scope. So he's narrowing it down to just current stuff. And then this is the very latest. This was just a couple days ago, 2 days ago. Prince Harry's tabloid rivalry flares ahead of final lawsuit. So Prince Harry's team has for the second week moved to challenge a story published in the most disliked newspaper group in a sign of tensions as the signs of tensions remain high ahead of an upcoming lawsuit. First, he sent a legal letter to the Daily Mail over its serialization of a biography by historian Andrew Loney, which alleged a fight between Harry and the Prince Andrew that the former says did not happen. Now they've moved to shut down Mail on Sunday articles stating he would launch a new charity after being frozen out of Centiball, the HIV and AIDS organization he set up in his mother's memory. So now he's doubling down currently on um on these two Daily Mail articles. And I'm just surprised that he's suing the Daily Mail because, like, they write about all kinds of stuff and it's like, I don't know, I just feel like, what is this going to start, like a whole everyone gets to sue the Daily Mail for stories they don't like, you know?
I'm. Do you know? I'm not surprised. He has had a bug up his backside about the British tabloids all his life. So, and I'm glad your disclaimer is going. But I mean, genuinely, that is the British perspective for, well, not for everyone, obviously, but for a lot of us is um, everything is, you know, it's down to everything that goes wrong in his life is somehow he attributes it to British tabloids. And you know, some of the stuff they do is unethical and beyond. Some of it is, you know, I can see what he's saying, but I, yeah, he's the kind of person who specifically takes would take any opportunity to sue a British news outlet. In fact, that entire list of the people who are the plaintiffs in this case are kind of cut from the same cloth.
Oh, so
Just my
Elton
opinion.
and Elizabeth. Well,
Yeah.
Elizabeth Hurley also had like some drama. Like, yeah, they've all been like kind of surrounded by drama. So, yeah, that's crazy.
Mm.
It says, why does it matter? It all points to continued tensions between Harry and the Mail ahead of an impending lawsuit in which the prince and other public figures have accused the newspaper of hacking voicemails and wiretapping phones. The state of relation, and this says the publisher denies the allegations, but the state of relations between the two sides are of increased relevance as it gives a hint about whether there's any possibility of settling the case. If the two sides cannot negotiate their way out of the case, then it will set the stage for a highly charged courtroom showdown. So that is the latest. So he's doubling down. Not only is he suing them, but now he's asking them to cease and desist on these articles. So we'll keep an eye on that. Seems like it's going to be a juicy trial. But it seems like y'all in the UK, like, are people, a lot of people following it, or is it just like, oh, Prince Harry up to his antics again?
I think, yeah, I think people are. I think they're following it because I think the one thing everyone agrees on, well, the vast majority agree on, is there does need to be some kind of, you know, regulations and oversight. I think better oversight for the tabloids. We had the oh god, what was it? Levenstein, Levis. Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember the name of it, but the inquiry recently, well, about 10 years ago, which did suggest some regulations, but they haven't all been implemented. So not much has really changed. I'll have to brush up on that. I know it begins with an L. I cannot remember
I saw it too. I think it is Levis something inquiries. I was, well,
it.
like, wondering what that
Yeah,
was. Um,
yes. That so
so
that's
those were
that's
like what, like rules imposed for like media.
recommendations. So there's a whole inquiry has taken place into. I think it was the original, the first phone hacking thing. Can you Google what the name of that inquiry is? But
Mm.
basically, it's all it was so
Leveson.
the Leveson. That's it. I knew it was close. So that was all about the news of the world, I think, and or the Sun. The original phone hacking issues when they came about, and then you had the Leveson inquiry, which that's the name of the person who's overseeing the inquiry. His surname's Leveson, and that brought about a series of recommendations for reforms. But from what I remember, certainly the Conservatives were bartering to, oh, we won't implement all of these if you vote us into power, and they got voted into power. So, I don't believe that all the recommendations were entirely implemented.
Well, thank you
Um,
for bringing it up because I saw it in a bunch of the articles I was reading.
oh yeah,
The
there
Leveson
it is at the
inquiry.
bottom. Actually, the Conservative Party's 2017 manifesto stated that the second part of the inquiry would be dropped entirely. Matt Hancock, who breached COVID regulations during COVID lockdown by cheating on his wife.
Oh, that's him here, Hancock. Oh, he
Yeah,
came up with his.
yeah, he
Okay.
smugged it.
And so he basically dropped the latter half of the Leveson,
Yeah,
but it was a judicial public inquiry into the culture, practices, and ethics of the British press after the phone hacking scandal from News International.
yeah.
So yeah, so they were actually trying to make like changes and stuff, and then this guy kind of um,
Come in and said, if you vote, if you vote, give us this, and you vote us into this power, we'll just make it all go away. And of course, the British politics are kind of heavily backed by media. You know, um, we've got media has a big sway on British politics. So
oh wow. Well, that's Prince Harry and the Royals. I love anything Royals. I was sat for Prince Harry and Meghan drama before um the Blake Lively, and I'm like, I feel like Blake kind of saved the Meghan Prince stuff because a lot of us transitioned into that. But yeah, it's gonna be an exciting one, for especially for like how the media in the UK handles future stuff, because it'd be crazy if it is proven that they were doing some crazy stuff, you know. I hope
yeah,
not. I hope that it's not proven and it's just celebrities being paranoid. Because I'm like that. I'm myself. I'm like, ever since covering Lively and Reynolds, I'm like, is my phone being hacked? It's my computer. Remember the time I was doing the live and my computer went down? I'm like, that had to be Reynolds. Like, it's just
you
funny.
can
But
remember that.
yeah, I was
Do
like,
you remember when
it's just
my
paranoia.
I had that power cut as well when I was reading my motion to quash.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you had the power cut off, and we're like, but I mean, like, is it just paranoia, or I guess we'll have to see, because again, we just read that the judge said that he found it weird that there were not more text messages between them and loved ones or them and the other plaintiffs. Like, like if something like this were to happen, a normal person would be shocked and would be texting people or like telling people about it. Girlie
Yeah.
says their mood swings are expensive. No, yeah, I mean, it's going to be crazy to find out. So we're going to go ahead and transition into the Chris Brown case over here.
What are we
Let me.
moving on to? Chris Brown.
We're moving into Chris Brown. Let me pull us
Okay.
down here so that way we can see better. And let me zoom it in. Okay, here we go. Breakdown of the Chris Brown UK criminal trial. So the alleged incident happened February 19th, 2023. So a year ago, a little over a year ago. Tate nightclub, Hanover Square, London. The accuser is music producer Abraham Abe Dial. The arrest, Chris Brown was arrested at a Manchester hotel on May 15th, 2025 by London's Metropolitan Police in connection with the incident. And I believe this is because he went on tour over there. And then when he landed, they're like, oh, now you're here. Now we can arrest you because the civil lawsuit was first. And then they
Mm,
got criminal charges. It says grievous bodily harm with intent for allegedly striking the victim with a tequila bottle and then stomping and punching him. Additional
wow.
charges were entered during the plea on July 11th, a month ago. So now it's assault occasioning actual bodily harm and also possession of an offensive weapon, saying that the tequila bottle was used in the alleged attack. So it went from just grievous bodily harm to now also assaults occasioning actual bodily harm and possession of a weapon. So this is the breakdown of the legal proceedings. On June 20th, Brown pleaded not guilty at the Southwark Crown Court to the grievous bodily harm charge. Then he had to come again on the 11th to plead not guilty to the two further charges. The
Can I
co-defendant.
just? No, I just wanted to clarify there because you just said then it went from just grievous bodily harm. Grievous bodily harm is actually very serious. It's more serious than the subsequent charge of actual bodily harm. It usually involves life-changing injuries.
Oh, so see,
It's
I thought
very, very serious.
assault occasion was more than grievous. So thanks for clarifying that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, because I was like, this seemed like an additional. Like I thought they upgraded the charges. So this was just
No.
maybe what they do, like how here in the US they'll add like other charges that aren't as bad, just like in case they don't get them for this bigger one, they add the smaller ones, which is
Yeah,
maybe.
that's what they've done here, I think, as well. Grievous
Mhm.
bodily harm is quite a high bar, you know. So, um, it it's just down from manslaughter, you
Oh,
know, or yeah,
what we would call here manslaughter. The
yeah.
co-defendant is US rapper Omalu Akinlu Hoodie baby. Hoodie baby was also charged and pleaded not guilty to the same main charge. Brown was initially denied bail, considered a flight risk, and detained, but later was granted on May 21st, 2025, the bail, and he posted a $6.7 million bond, £5 million. Accusations, prosecutors described the assault as unprovoked, involving Brown repeatedly striking Diao with a tequila bottle and then physically attacking him. Victim Abraham Dial filed a civil lawsuit for £12 million, $16 million in damages related to injuries and losses suffered, which he has. That civil claim has been dropped, so I'm sure they settled outside of court. But me and Leanne were discussing how even if you drop a civil claim, the criminal still proceeds because um, it's already in motion. Like he can't say, "Oh, I don't want you to proceed with the criminal stuff." He might end up being like a hostile witness, maybe, and
Mm,
not cooperate. We don't know that, like, if he's going to cooperate or what. Because that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, if he dropped the civil case, could like, what's going to make him go forward with the criminal case? Like it doesn't make sense if he settled that one. The current status is that Brown has pleaded not guilty and he's out on bail. And the next step is the trial is scheduled for October 24th, 2026. So here's the charges in the alleged actions, striking with the bottle, repeated attack, causing significant injury, and then the tequila bottle as a weapon. And then so here he is when he went down in July 11th. This is him here. He pleaded not guilty at that hearing. It says, according to the outlet, he pleaded not guilty, and prosecutors described the alleged incidents as unprovoked. While leaving the courtroom, Brown was spotted in a tweed suit with dark rimmed glasses, and he could be seen briefly waving to fans who had showed up for him. And I'm going to do an episode on objection sidebar. I'm not sure if I'm going to do one this Friday because I kind of want to take the whole weekend off to work on the Rebel case. But on celebrity court fashion, because you see him here with like the tweed and stuff. I'm obsessed with like celebrity court fashion, like what they wear, because it's all like kind of psychological too, like how you want to appear. And I thought this
It's
one was like a cool one.
it's definitely strategic. I've talked to you about that though, haven't I, before?
Yeah.
What
So maybe
how
you
your
can
hair's
come on.
done and what you wear, even your jewelry choices, going into courtrooms is very strategic.
Yeah, and I thought like the tweed and the buttons, I don't know, it was very British. I thought, I was like, who's dressing up for this? Because I consider like tweed and buttons like this, like like the old like British like crime shows, like the detective shows, like this is what they would wear. Um, and so I don't know, that's what it reminded me of. But yeah, so
That's
okay,
offensive.
how is it offensive?
That's no tweed. That's so British. No, it's not.
Well, not
Well, it used to be, and it is still now if you're over the age of 70.
I didn't want to offend you. You're like, that's offensive. I'm just saying this is what it reminded me of, like those crime, like the when you see like the British detective and he's wearing like the tweed coats with the big buttons. I don't want to be offensive. I love my British people and I love the tweed. Um, but it did reminded me of that. Um, but sorry to everybody. He did not wear anything fluffy, no. Hey Elizabeth. Um, oh, my sound is off? Is it just my voice or is it
It sounds like it keeps going a bit robotic occasionally.
Oh, okay. Hopping in to say I love tweed clothes. It's just too hot in Texas to wear. Thanks for saving me, Jen. I'm over here doing the Ashley Simpson jig. Um, but yeah, okay, so as we move on from celebrity court fashion with this, according to this, while awaiting trial, Brand hasn't been permitted to leave the UK. Wait, but he did leave also hasn't been permitted to leave the UK and is unable to reach out to his accuser or visit the club where the alleged attack took place. So he has like a protective order against the
Yeah,
accuser.
it sounds like it's a restraining order.
Um, so it says he was sued, and on this article, it doesn't say that the complaint, um, that the civil lawsuit. Oh yeah, it does say on Friday, June 27th, he requested that the civil suit be dismissed with prejudice per court documents from Los Angeles County obtained by Billboard. Because of that, he can't refile it. So it was with prejudice, probably, that he dismissed it. Yeah, it says with prejudice. However, Brown still faces the criminal charges. So we're going to stay tuned to this. Obviously, it's not until October of 2026, which is a year from now. Um,
If
but
the other person, if the victim wins in the UK, well, he could do it anyway, but he stands a good chance of being successful. If he wins, so if Chris Brown is found guilty in the criminal system over in the UK, um, the um, the other person could probably claim criminal injuries compensation, or could potentially sue him civilly over here. So whilst he can't refile in America, that does not stop him from being able to claim over here potentially, especially if he wins in the criminal system, because obviously the bar there is far more higher to for the burden of proof. So if he's found guilty criminally, then it's an almost guaranteed win to prove your case civilly.
Oh, okay. So thanks for breaking all that down. Um, yeah, because that's like I don't know. I just feel like the witness, like, how is that going to work in a criminal trial if the witness was like he settled this lawsuit? Like, is he going to testify
Mm.
against him or is he going to refuse to testify against him? Like, I don't know how that works because I know out here, they call them
No,
like
he has to
hostile witnesses.
testify. Criminally, if you are summoned to testify, you have to testify.
Yeah, and then they consider like if they don't cooperate, they consider them like hostile witnesses. Like, if they're not answering the questions. Like, what if he goes up there and says, oh, like it wasn't unprovoked or something? I don't know. It's just weird to me that he settled and then he's still gonna have to go and, or maybe he does want him to
But
have criminal charges.
the settlement will have no bearing because if he is requested by, in our case, the Crown is what runs the because in the US it's state that runs like state cases, but in the UK the criminal cases are run by the Crown. Um, and if you're requested to give evidence, um, then it doesn't. Then any non-disclosure that may have been signed as part of a settlement, it does not apply. And you can freely give evidence and testify without breaking any non-disclosure agreement. So
Oh, okay.
there will be exemptions there where you cannot a non-disclosure agreement in a civil situation cannot override testimony in a criminal proceedings.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna go ahead. Well, see, this is why we have Leanne here to break down all the legal stuff for the UK court. So we're gonna go ahead and move into the Russell Brand of it all, breaking down the UK criminal case against Russell Brand. Let me pull this up so it's bigger. Okay. The charges were brought after an 18-month-long police investigation, which began following reports by 4 women in September 2023. These allegations were revealed in a joint investigation by Channel 4, the Sunday Times, and the Times. So the media broke this story. Some people went to the media. They broke the story. And then after that, they picked it up and it was an 18-month police investigation into it before they charged him. The accusers remain anonymous, and Brand has consistently denied all allegations, claiming all his sexual encounters were consensual. Um, Brand pleaded not guilty to all charges in a London court on May 30th, 2025. His trial is scheduled to begin on June 3rd, 2026, so in a year, a little under a year, and is
Mm.
expected to last 4 to 5 weeks. He remains out on bail and currently resides in the United States. I think he's in Florida. But he is required to keep the UK court informed of any address changes. Brand's statements have expressed gratitude for the chance to defend himself in court, and he has denied ever engaging in non consensual activity. The Metropolitan Police have encouraged other potential victims to come forward and have supplied support through specialist officers. Russell Brand faces 5 serious criminal charges in the UK, all involving sexual offenses alleged by 4 women between 1999 and 2005. The case emerged after major media investigations led to a high profile trial set for June 2026. But so here are the, did I start? Yeah, I started too far down in the bottom. That's what happened. So here are the charges. Russell Brown charged with 5 criminal offenses by London's Metropolitan Police: 1 count of rape, 1 count of indecent assault, 1 count of oral rape, 2 counts of sexual assault. These charges covered alleged incidents that occurred between 1999 and 2005, so over 20 years ago. Um, so here's the first one. It happened in Bournemouth. Bournemouth? How do you say that? Bournemouth? The allegation was rape. Description: alleged incident at a hotel room during a labor party conference event. So this is actual rape. This is the one that I was like, 2001 Westminster indecent assault. He allegedly grabbed a woman's forearm and attempted to drag her into the men's toilet. So he just grabbed her by the arm and tried to drag her. So I'm interested to see, like, did he successfully take her to the men's toilet? Like, what what happened there?
I'm curious to see, like, and I mean this kind of respectfully. I do understand. I don't love these historical cases because the police, especially in the UK, we've got a real big problem with under-reporting and then under-prosecuting of rape and sexual assault. And those are even with cases where, you know, the victims go to like what we call a SARC, a sexual assault and rape referral clinic, and they have all the forensic stuff taken, as quickly as possible, and they give their testimony and everything at the earliest opportunity. We still have a problem prosecuting those cases. So when something like this from 20 years ago, some things like allegations of grabbing a woman's arm and trying to drag her into a men's toilet. And I'm curious to know what the evidence is going to be after all of this time. It's just a thought process. I would hope there would be CCTV or something, because even with eyewitnesses, how reliable is their memory after it's going to be 25 years?
Yeah. Well, that's like the whole thing with like the Danny Masterson case too. I mean, he's serving jail time, which I mean, I know a lot of people feel like, oh, he deserved it, like what he did was horrible, but those charges were also like beyond 20 years old, or at least over
Yeah.
20 years. And then he already had a family, he already had a child. Like it wasn't like, I don't know, I feel like those kind of things, maybe like if the person is still like engaging in that kind of stuff, like with Diddy,
Yeah.
like Cassie had come forward earlier because he was still currently, acting up. But like I feel like once you're like married and have a kid and a family and all that stuff, that's why like with like the Shia LaBeouf stuff with him and FK Twigs, like they settled the case and stuff because I'm like he already had a kid, he was married, like I don't know. It's not to say that people shouldn't be held accountable. So again, disclaimer, I'm not saying like this
No,
is
no,
okay,
no, no. Absolutely, I agree with you.
but
People should be held accountable, but
but
but like
like
how
to bring
how
it
are
so
you going
far
to
later, like
prosecute it?
evidence is gone. Like if you were
Yeah, or it was never even obtained in the first place. Then I just struggle from a practicality, and it is just from a practicality. I completely empathise with these women, and I've been in that situation myself. Where something happened, and I didn't do anything about it, and you know the had a brief conversation where it got mentioned as part of something else, and the police asked if, do you want to pursue it? Do you want to pursue charges? We can take a statement. And I actually said, well, no, because what's the reality? What's the realistic prospects that you're going to be able to find enough evidence to, get a successful conviction? And, they said, well, actually, honestly, they did say, well, quite low, actually. It's even with evidence, the prospects of successful conviction are low. And
Mhm.
I'm going to be following this case myself because of that curiosity. Because I know we had a similar thing with Jimmy Savile as well, like where historic and Rolf Harris ended up being prosecuted, and a few others, all for things that Jimmy Savile wasn't prosecuted. But, the allegations were historic. They were from decades before. So, and Rolf Harris's did actually get overturned in the end. He spent time in jail, but I'd have to go back and look, but I think the convictions ended up being overturned or something. And then it's like, well, how much time and resources does this cost now
Uh,
to getting
yeah,
back where you basically started?
exactly. This is the last one, 2004 and 2005, Westminster, sexual assault, allegedly grabbing and pushing her against the wall, kissing and groping a woman at a radio station. So, like these last two, I feel like, I mean, I don't know, like somebody pushed, I mean, it's still assault, but for him to get, for them to wait 20 years to be like, oh, he pushed me up against the wall. Like, I don't know, they just seem pettier compared to like the actual rape of here.
Yeah. And from what I understand, one of the women did go to get examined, so that will be useful. The rest,
And
I'm
I
not
think one
sure
of them
about.
wrote a book too, like right after.
Yeah.
Russell Brand pleads not guilty to rape. This one is not British. He's just wearing a suit. um, but I thought I wanted to
He
bring
forgot
this
to put his shirt on.
celebrity court fashion. Because he's got the Bible and then he's got like the black. I mean, I don't know. Is this like a smart choice? I didn't really think so because it makes him look like a bad boy. Like the Bible, okay, yes. The cross necklace, okay. But like, I don't know. Are these leather pants? They kind of, maybe they're just black jeans, but I don't know. I feel like maybe he should have gone with something more formal and maybe like pulled his hair in a ponytail or something. But we'll definitely be talking more about this in the court fashion once I do that episode because um yeah, for me this look didn't do it. But basically he was clutching it wasn't a Bible, it was a Puritan prayer book, as he walked into the London courtroom. So this is the last thing that has happened on May 30th was when he went in there to plead not guilty. So there has been no movement in the case since then. That was the first pretrial hearing at London's Southwark uh, Crown Court. And his trial is scheduled again for June 2026. It says a recent convert to Christianity, he's leaned into his faith in denying the charges that date back more than 25 years. Oh, so they're saying more than 25 years. And it says he turns 50 next week. So that was back in May. He turned 50. So now you got this 50-year-old man trying to make amends for stuff that he did when he was 20,
Yeah.
25. Oh,
Can I
so
correct something there, CJ, because it is really making my teeth itch. It's not Southwark, it's Southwark.
Southwark. Okay, good. Because
Southwark.
somebody
I'm
else
going to
helped me
teach you all of these
pronounce,
things.
somebody else made me help me pronounce Bournemouth. Bournemouth. So I didn't know how to do that. So
Yes,
thank
it's
you. Yeah,
Bournemouth. Yeah,
correct me. Um, so it was what Southwark.
Southwark. So it's south of the River Thames. It's the south end of London.
Oh, okay. So one of them said she met Brand at the 1999 conference for the center left Labor Party, and she alleged that that happened in a nearby hotel room. Obviously, we just went over, all the accusers and what happened, but when he went, he did not speak to reporters as they requested for comment. He wore a all black with the blazer over pinstripe shirt, unbuttoned to his navel. Like, I don't know about that. You're going to court, like decorum maybe. I don't know.
Judge does not like seeing belly buttons.
Yeah, several necklaces and dark sunglasses. He disappeared into a black Mercedes after the 10-minute. And then he did post a video to social media saying that he was a sex addict before embracing Christianity, but he denied any wrongdoing and said that the law has become a weapon. And he said, before this, he was a fool. Before I lived in the light of the Lord, I was a drug addict, a sex addict, and an imbecile, but never, never was I a rapist. I've never engaged in non-consensual activity.
And I think that statement might benefit him. The reason being is it's like Johnny Depp, right? And everyone kind of got a bit irate with Amber Heard because she was kind of going at Johnny Depp, who was openly admitting his addiction problems. But she was sort of sitting there, acting like, well, I don't take drugs, and I don't drink. And then, then there would be pictures of her drinking and, her emails admitting to taking drugs. Russell Brand was known for being having addictions and being a sex addict, and the fact that he is kind of embracing that and not trying to distance himself, I think, is going to work out better for him. Because if he tries to sort of come in and play the saint when he's got all this colourful history, it's not going to go down well. The prosecution is going to tear him apart. If he kind of says, look, yeah, I had a sex addiction, that's well known, but that does not make me a rapist, and it's for you to prove that I crossed that line.
Yeah.
The prosecution is going to have a harder time because I think they'll be able to prove that he has a history of, like a kind of sexual history, shall we say, where, there's a bit of the weird and bizarre, and, there was an addiction at play. But then that's how do you get into, they've then got to prove there was a lack of consent, and that is going to be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, and it
Uh,
is gonna be difficult as well because his lawyer is Oliver Schneider-Sikorsky, who
yeah,
also did actor Kevin Spacey, and he was successful in defending him against those sexual assault allegations in 2023. So we're gonna have to
yeah,
keep an eye out on this case. Like you said, you want to follow it as well. So we'll see how
yeah.
many updates. Again, we're very, very spoiled with Blake and Baldoni, where we get to see. I couldn't find any of these UK docs anywhere. Like you have to buy them from the high courts. There's no like docket like we have over here, unless there's one I'm not aware of. Going to
No,
court.
it's not the same, but I can see if I can get hold of stuff and I'll share them with you then. Because,
Mhm.
we do a lot of stuff. We do a lot of crossover anyway, but, I intend to follow this myself, which is going to be quite easy because I can either go in person to hearings or, I can kind of, you know, get access to to documents and filings. The filings are still public. It's just not the same thing as like PACER or Court Listener.
Yeah, and if you cover it, then you can just come on over here and just update us on it, and we can
Yeah,
send everyone over there
and you
for
can dissect the fashion,
what's that?
and you can dissect the fashion.
The fashion. Yeah, going to court for SA dressed like that is trash. I agree.
Yeah, it
Definitely
is.
not a good move. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up because we've been here for an hour. I'm trying to keep them shorter because a lot of the followers want me to keep them shorter. But we had a lot to get into today with these three scandals. We'll be following them and updating you guys on what's going on. So Leanne will be covering any Russell updates, and then Steph the alternate for any Prince Harry updates on that
And the
case.
black belt barrister as well.
And yeah, and black belt barrister. And then for Chris Brown, I didn't find any docket or anything that's updating on this. I'm sure there's probably fan pages and stuff, but I'll try and keep you guys updated on it. So I
I
appreciate y'all
can pull the filings for that as well if you want.
for Chris Brown.
Yeah, I can get them.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Um Tomorrow's episode, it's gonna be all things Drake. It's gonna be a full 1 hour episode on Drake. Maybe we'll cover some lively stuff, but there's been so much going on. They both share a lawyer, as you guys know, Michael Gottlieb. There's also been X account subpoenaed in that case. There's just tons of like juicy, juicy stuff. A whole docket dropped last night. I'm gonna get through those documents today. And so there's not gonna be a night show again tonight. And so we'll see you guys tomorrow morning for Drake and Blake. Thank y'all for stopping by.
Thank you.